You're listening to From There to Here, a Star Trek Enterprise podcast. Hello, my name is Josh, and with me is
Justin.
Today we're reviewing Season 1, Episode 25, 2 Days and 2 Nights. We finally made it. We're here.
We made it.
I know. I never thought...
We got to Risa.
I never thought the day would come. So here's what it's about according to the IMDb.
Is it Risa or Risa?
I think either or.
Okay.
The members of the Enterprise crew are faced with various misadventures and challenges while taking a 2-day break from their duties on the planet of Risa. And on the IMDb, this is rated as a 6.6 out of 10, so that is not good. Not good. Well, let's go see what our base comparison is to Terra Nova. Terra Nova was 6.5, so we're not doing too much better according to the IMDb.
Okay. Oh, is it my turn?
Oh, yeah, that would be your cue.
Had an original air date of May 15, 2002. Of course, we noticed in the credits this was directed by Michael Dorn, Worf himself.
He played Worf?
Well, yeah, Worf, you know, the Klingon from the Star Trek The Next Generation and the Deep Space Nine.
I had no idea that was his name.
Lieutenant Commander Worf.
Oh, wow.
Michael Dorn.
Wow.
Dorney.
I didn't know that.
The Dornster. Let me see. I wanted to find it. The subplot. This is from Wikipedia. The subplot about Captain Archer received a lot of attention and rewriting. The idea was to have Archer in a mystery, for him to be like Cary Grant in a Hitchcock film, and for Kayla to be his romantic interest like Grace Kelly.
Hey, man, that sounds like a better episode.
Yeah, it would have been.
Why did they have that?
Writer Chris Black felt it got a bit too bogged down, having to explain the backstory of how it connected to the episode Detained. And although he liked the episode, he wished it could have been more. And I see what they were going for. They were going for like a Rear Window kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but, you know, Grace Kelly, I mean... I see the connections, but no, they didn't get it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
and it also mentioned that the episode was a victim of budget.
Yeah, and it felt like it.
And yeah,
looked like it.
You know, they had much loftier ambitions for it, but as you and I pointed out during the watching of the episode, you know, it was all indoors when they're supposed to be outdoors, all that stuff that just you don't want to see.
Well, even when they did that in TNG, when they would go to Risa, they were in a set, but it somehow didn't seem so obvious.
It was always obvious.
Although
in Deep Space Nine, they actually went outside. They went on a beach.
That's true. Well, but this seemed a little bit more fake to me. I never had that feeling, at least not consciously, while watching TNG. Yeah, I knew it was a set, but I didn't get critical of it like I did here.
Maybe it's because we don't actually see the resort per se. We just see his room.
No, we do see the resort.
Do you?
Yeah, we see them outdoors and, you know, the eatery where, you know, like the food court.
Yeah, and it all feels very contained. Like you see the walls with Picard.
But the light, it looks very artificial. It does not look like natural light.
Well, it didn't in TNG, but I'll grant you it looked a little
in Captain's Holiday, it was more convincing.
Yeah, fair enough. Although that sucked too.
Well, yeah. I know that maybe that episode has some
I think the texture, whatever you want to call it, you know, the look that we're picking up on this is directly connected to the Enterprise blandness. You know, unfortunately, it's just the way they're shot. And
yeah. Those two of you out there listening, you know, or maybe if we picked up a new listener today, you know, in the past we've mentioned how many times, half a dozen times by now, that this show suffers from blandness, and we're talking about like visual blandness. Like its tones are very bland. The color tone,
it makes you sleepy, and
I don't think it's something we were aware of until this rewatch.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either. In my mind,
of course,
we're being better than it did.
We're coming at it with a critical eye now, so
of course we're looking back on it. How many years? You know, so like this is like 20 years old.
Well, you know, I had no idea because in my memory, all of those actors on the show, I thought they had much more significant roles, but watching this in this first season, at least. The supporting players, I mean, outside of Trip, T'Pol, and Archer, they don't really have a whole lot to do. They're not given a lot. Not yet. No. Like, I'd forgotten, like, Phlox is barely in this.
He is barely in it. Although he totally steals this episode when he's on screen.
Yeah, well, that moment will come up later in our awards probably. But
okay, well, let me start off by asking you this.
Well, yeah.
This first question.
Okay. I'm curious. What?
So, much like the characters who were building up going to Risa, we were building up getting to this episode.
This was a long preamble.
So, let me just ask you, did it fulfill your expectations?
No.
Okay.
It did not. Right. I remembered this episode much more fondly.
Being a lot more fun.
Again, I don't know if I'm going to attribute that to that critical eye. Maybe when I watched it, I had no expectations the first time. I just didn't.
I think also, if we take ourselves back 20 years, this at the time was the newest Trek. It's in widescreen.
Yeah, but we didn't even have a widescreen TV, probably.
I'm just saying. I think everything they were doing was kind of a novelty. So, they're going down to the seedier parts of Risa. Oh, yeah. And they've got more people, more extras, and they're talking about sex. And Trek doesn't do that. It felt grittier at the time. And the stuff with Phlox, even now, that was great. And so it definitely was different. Star Trek usually doesn't do comedy very well. And
yeah, that's
thankfully
true.
This guy was
And this was like slapstick kind of comedy.
Slapstick comedy.
Yes. This was unusual.
And it was actually good, which is rare.
Well, I'll just mention it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that moment from Phlox where he wakes up from his hibernation.
Everything from him waking up was great.
Well, that moment in particular, I don't know if it sparked something in your mind as familiar as being very close to the Doc Brown waking up in Back to the Future Part 3.
Yeah.
Wasn't it very much like that?
Sure, I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what they were going for. That was their inspiration. Or
maybe
John Billingsley's inspiration. I don't know. But yeah. This episode was a letdown, so the cat's out of the bag. Was it bad? No, not at all. Was it? Should it be sat next to Terra Nova? Hell no. No, I was moderately entertained.
Sure.
With this episode, by far, I think the best part was, not the best part. I think the thing that had the most potential was Trip and Malcolm. But they didn't do enough with it.
No,
which is something I'm saying about every plot in this episode.
Well, let's address that at the end when we get to the writers' room segment. What we would do differently before I see you going down that path of what.
No, I wasn't. I was just. Okay. I think I was just making my point. Which
no, I agree with you.
These separate. I didn't remember them being split up like this, but
I knew they split up. I remembered.
I thought that Archer was the primary guy, but he was really just about as much as all the others.
As everyone else. Yeah. In fact, to go back to the questions that we thought to always ask ourselves at the top of an episode.
Yeah. Who is it about? I don't know.
Who's it about? I put everyone.
It's basically everyone.
Everyone gets a few
everyone
minutes.
gets a little.
And that's not a bad
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it about? Whatever that expression is that has to do with best laid plans. Everyone's plans get upended.
Except for
Hoshi,
who actually does have a good time.
She does have a good time. And she was going there to learn.
She's the only one that gets
new languages. And she also learned the language of love as well.
Which, didn't take her long to learn that language.
No, apparently. She learned it by being an SLUT. So let's see.
I don't think
character growth or ungrowth. I put not really.
Not really.
Just really.
No. Well, no.
Not really. Other than maybe Trip and Malcolm
probably learned a lesson. But Hoshi didn't. You don't think Hoshi grew a little bit?
Not really.
To be a little confident or spread her wings.
She was fine. She was perfectly fine. She wasn't nervous or anything like that. She was having a ball.
Yeah, but she usually is nervous, right? That's
not in that situation.
Wet behind
like
the ears.
that.
That's her thing.
Nah, this is just social interaction. She's fine with that. She's a personable person.
Okay,
just my opinion. Any repercussions? I would say no. Other than,
you think there would be because Archer's plot, which is
right,
which has no resolution.
No, boy.
And no point to it.
No, it doesn't.
For those of you that don't remember, his storyline is he meets a woman, an attractive woman that's age appropriate, I guess. I guess they wanted to go that route instead of making her
a 2-time Star Trek veteran, by the way.
Yeah, well, what else was she in?
She was in Masterpiece Society.
Right.
And
she was the one that wanted to leave the planet.
Yes, the one that cracked the dome. And the Deep Space Nine episode where she's working for the Orion Syndicate.
Right, yeah.
She said Odo had bedroom eyes.
That was her?
That was her.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, I guess she must have had a different look in there. Something with her hair, maybe.
Pretty much exactly the same.
Because I remember her being... She was attractive in this episode, but much more attractive in that DS9 episode. Like maybe she
they were playing it... She was kind of playing almost the same character in both. Yeah. Where she was trying to attract Odo to distract him from the case, which is what she's essentially doing with Archer. She's trying to get his attention.
That's true. But for what reason, we never find out, and we never will.
No, it doesn't.
It seemed that it led to nowhere.
Nowhere.
Absolutely. It was a big waste of time. Like, what was the point? Like, at least...
That's what I think that writer guy was talking about, where he was saying, there was supposed to be a mystery. It was supposed to be almost like what happens in Rear Window.
Leftovers of something that could have been interesting.
Yeah. And they were like, forget it. Just let it go.
Well,
it was very disappointing.
They should have
just canceled it altogether.
Like left him out of the episode and expand the other plots, or maybe just make it about him and forget the others.
I'll save my thoughts for the writer's room.
Okay, well, yeah. They did a callback to Detained. She was one of those people from that.
Was she?
She was of that species.
Yes, of the species.
Of the Dean Stockwell species.
Yes,
the Tadarans or
Tadarans,
something like that. And I was like, well, okay, that's interesting, but what did she want? I don't know. Like
no, she was interested.
She wanted to find out intel on the Suliban.
Yeah, and she obviously does not like them.
And she was very bad at getting intel, because as soon as she started talking about it, she got angry and started yelling. Of course, that's going to completely kill the mood. Yeah. And it did. And Archer immediately knew something was up. And so he stopped. And I was like, well, what kind of a spy are you? Yeah. You suck. I was like, I hope you're not like one of their top intelligence officers, because you're terrible.
Yeah, no idea.
Well, I mean, the other plot led somewhere. They all had an ending.
Yeah, they all resolved.
That one meant it had nothing to do with anything.
I agree.
And by far, I think it had maybe, I wouldn't say they're spread out equally. I think it had a little bit more than the rest. A few more scenes anyway.
That whole subplot was just ultimately very disappointing. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to try
for a multitude of reasons,
if they're going to try to do an homage to an old detective story or movie or something like that,
they did this so much better in Captain's Holiday, where
actually giving Captain's Holiday some praise.
Where the captain meets a woman who we've never seen before, and they get involved. Only in that, at least the two of them together were fun.
That's true.
Because she had no tolerance for his stuffiness and encouraged him to come out of his shell. And she kept him on his toes. Mm-hmm. And you could see him getting attracted to that and like having fun with it.
Yeah.
And that they at least did well.
Mm-hmm. So well that they even brought her character back for another episode. And we're not talking about Deep Space Nine. And right.
I like this actress. She was I thoroughly enjoyed her in the the TNG episode. She was in the Deep Space Nine episode. She was fine. The episode just kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But I like her.
Yeah.
But
they didn't.
They had no chemistry.
No.
But they had no chemistry partly because it wasn't on the page. They're just having them stand around. Yeah. You never see them go anywhere. That's a victim of the budget, no doubt.
Right.
I'm sure they wanted to show them walking on the beach. They couldn't go to the beach. It cost money to go out there and film. Uh-huh. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Everything they talk about having happened off screen was much more interesting than what we got.
That's true.
I would have rather seen Archer go on that fishing thing and get seafood dinner
Yeah.
than what we watched because it just wasn't interesting. At
Well,
all.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen Travis climbing those rocks. We didn't get to see that either.
No.
I know he was barely in it, but at least
Yeah.
that would have been something.
No,
Work that into the plot.
That would have been something.
Yeah.
Given that they were aiming for a Hitchcock type storyline.
Well, if they were, they abandoned that.
They obviously did, but they really shouldn't have. They should have just have her be exactly what she at first appears to be, just a woman on vacation, and have them both, just like in Rear Window, witness something.
Mm-hmm.
And Archer being Archer, he can't help but get involved. And so they start going together on this mystery, just like Murders in the Building, Only Murders in the Building, the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
That an unlikely pair gets put together and do that.
Yeah.
So what if it's a Rear Window ripoff? Doesn't matter. It would go in a different direction anyway.
Yeah.
And have it be something fun. Have it end with a goof. Have it be like they think they saw someone be killed, but it was really just a Ferengi arguing about a bill or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And have her at the end have her go, "Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. You just wasted 2 days of your vacation." You go, "No, I had a blast. That was so much fun.
Best time I've had in
best
years.
time I've had in a year." He said, "I had a ball." That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Even though Picard at the end of Captain's Holiday kind of gets duped and she gets away and something, he still had a ball. He had a blast.
Yeah.
He really didn't want to sit and read a book. He wanted to have fun. He just didn't want to say it.
Right.
So why not just do something like that? And then have everything else be the way it was. Let's just go into the writer's room. You want to go into the writer's room?
Yeah, it feels like we want to, so let's go into it.
So
the writer's room looks just like the room we're in now. Go figure.
So that's what I would have done with the Archer plot. Okay.
Well, I just would have made that the whole story.
That could have been a story all on
you could
its
still
own.
have those characters in the periphery, but very much in the periphery.
Okay, this is how I'd spin that, right? So Archer and this girl are solving their mystery, trying to solve it. Let's say we know from the beginning, because it's set up just fine. Everything gets set up very well. So Archer knows that Trip and Malcolm are going to get their business. So let's say in the course of his investigation, and he's the primary story, we're following him. He ends up in that same nightclub and he passes through and he sees his boys over there. "Hey boys, how's your game going?" "Oh, we're doing great, Captain." When really they're totally tanking. And he's like, "All right, see you later." And he moves on. Meanwhile, or he comes in and he goes, "Hey, I see those, you see those guys? See those girls, Captain? Yeah, we got this, Cap. Can you scoot on?" "Well, sure, fellas, on your way." And then their story, we see a snippet of their story.
Mm-hmm.
And that, they missed a lot of opportunity with that, obviously. Obviously, it's all set up and how they're going to crash and burn.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, have it be where we see, yes, we saw them coming in there all 40-year-old virgin styles, checking the room out and all that stuff. Get past that quickly. Have them go to these girls acting like they are like the Mac daddies from Earth and have us go, "I can't believe this is working."
Yeah.
And then have the girls be like, "Really? You saved the whole engine core? You did this?" And make us act, because we know it's totally bullshit.
Well, they almost
BS.
got there.
I know,
with
but
with that one line about being captain.
Right. Now that was funny. We take turns being captain. He's captain.
Yeah,
give me a whole scene of that, because those two together actually have chemistry.
When you let them have fun.
The boys, and they were having fun. Give me a whole scene of that. I don't need, they did like 2 or 3 bits of them in the bar looking around. Just get to it. Get to it already. And
because I would have loved if the whole thing was about them or Archer. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much time, of course.
I'm kind of picturing in my mind, like if they were at, if they did have the budget, if they were at like a Royale type place, like from TNG, everything happens in the hotel,
right.
But it's the hotel is a character, but it's also our setting. I can see it the way you described that plot, So
what about this then? We see the Cap, everything starts the way it did. We go to the Archer plot, the mystery. He passes through the bar, just like I said, and he passes Trip and Malcolm, and they're like, hey, see, those girls were, and he's like, okay, boys, good luck. Then we leave, and we don't see them again until the end of the episode when Archer's walking through, and he sees them walking the street in their underwear. And he's like, what happened to you guys? Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, that's it. And we'll never know. But it's obvious that they got ripped somehow. That's it. It's more fun not to see it, I think. Wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah, I think that would have been might have made it funnier.
That might have been it funnier. And because John Billingsley was so darn funny.
It would have been funnier if, like, they did it. Do you remember Book of Love?
Well, yeah.
When they had their clothes stolen, they put a cardboard box around. If they were running around like that instead of in their blue undies, that would have been funny. That when the captain catches them like that,
she said, "Oh my gosh, look at those men! Oh, I think I know them. Do you want to go help them?"
No, she could have said, "Don't you know them?" No.
Oh, look, they're the same species as you. Do you know them?
No, never seen them before in my life.
That would have been hilarious. And we would have put it together that they totally got ripped off. I mean, that would have been great.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be cardboard boxes, but something that clearly shows their...
I guess I think that's funny.
Well, it is funny.
Yeah. You know? Or if they were wearing, like, something that's more embarrassing than their blue undies, like ladies' bathrobes or something.
Yeah, something that not to imply that they did well, but something to where they're hanging in shame.
Yeah,
that would have been good. Nothing.
Hoshi's plot still need to be there or no?
Nah, dump it.
Dump it. Yeah, totally.
Dump it. Just do.
But the Phlox part can stay.
Phlox and Archer, and then the Phlox part probably takes as long. Not even as the Phlox part will take longer than the Malcolm Trip stuff. But yes, because like I said, Billingsley steals the show as soon as he wakes up from his hibernation. He was hilarious. Like you pointed out as we were watching, you're like, he did an actual like pratfall.
Yeah,
like, you never see that.
no,
and he's like a master at it.
Did pretty good.
He's very good.
Yeah.
He just absolutely steals, and it's a style of humor that you never see in Star Trek, ever.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't think that was something they ever would have written into the script. I think it was just them doing it.
Maybe.
And Billingsley said, "Could I just do this?" Like something like that.
I don't know.
I barely have anything to do in this episode. So
I mean, I love it. He's calling everyone captain.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Yeah.
It just. Gosh, that was good.
Did you notice that T'Pol seemed rather irritated?
I did notice that.
Yeah.
That she was...
What was that?
I don't know. She seemed kind of annoyed the whole
I don't know if that was the actress or what she was... If she was...
I picked up on it as well.
Okay, because...
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm not the only one. All right.
No, you're not. And I don't know what either.
There seemed to be no reason for it, unless there was a subplot that was cut out or something like that. But
maybe there was something... brief that shows her,
because the crew's gone, she should be in a good mood, like she doesn't have to deal with any of the humans. Like,
well, they did. I wonder if there was something cut, because it was Malcolm and Trip were talking, and they actually referenced that Vulcans every 7 years, and he goes, "Nah, come on, 7 years," and they don't believe it. So maybe she is secretly all pent up, and maybe there was a scene that was cut that showed that she was too, but she didn't want to show it, so she's on edge the whole time. You
think like maybe another character would mention it or something, unless they cut that part out too.
But the fact that we both picked up on that, and for no apparent reason, that she's acting this way.
It's just a slight change to her expression. It was very slight, but it was there.
Maybe it was the actress. Maybe there's something going on that week.
No.
And she was not in a good mood.
I don't know. I doubt that. If it was, the director would have called that out immediately.
Maybe.
He would have sat her down. Jolene, what's wrong? You having a
Vulcans
bad day?
Don't walk around frustrated all the time.
Yeah, you look angry. What is this?
She did. She looked angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Odd choice. Yeah. Well, in your revised script here, where they have he and the girl have a detective adventure,
Yeah.
Would there be any kind of ulterior motive for this woman at all, or would they just meet?
No,
because in Captain's Holiday she did have one. So,
No ulterior motive. She was just there on vacation too. Nothing else. That's where these kinds of things get complicated unnecessarily. Just have her be a person that he met.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And they really didn't have anything to. The chemistry was kind of lacking a little bit.
But I think that's because of the script too, because they're both capable actors.
They could have had more. Like, I don't know. The thing that brought them together was the fact that they both had a dog, and I thought that was kind of weak sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And she had one of those really annoying little yapping dogs,
right?
And one of those dogs that they cut their hair weird. They shave their body, but leave hair on their head. I'm like, why would you do that to a dog? That's so cruel.
Yeah. I know.
So I think
but they might have had
that.
a chance for some chemistry if they were put in a situation that's more interesting, because they weren't in any situations.
He does have chemistry somewhat to that Columbia captain in season 4.
Yeah.
But because they have some common ground.
Right.
But here.
And they're doing something. They're always doing something.
Right. They were actually out doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like climbing
These two
rocks
didn't do anything.
Like no. They were just hanging around. Budget constraints. Like there was a moment in the episode where they're on the balcony and it's clearly a blue screen behind the actress. And it's supposed to be at the beach and the ocean, that night sky and everything like that. It didn't look that bad, but it was clearly fake.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really takes you out of the moment.
Although I would have cut the Hoshi subplot completely. They should have had that guy that hit on her. He should have had, and this is my first trivia question to you.
Oh, I forgot to write down a trivia question.
What's it called? What is the object called that you place on a table that signals to other Risians that you're ready to party? What's it called?
Oh, yeah.
They don't actually say it in this episode, which I was really surprised about. And they actually have one as his door light switch cover. If you notice in his room when he goes in and he opens and closes the door, it's literally the switch cover is in the shape of it. And it is called
I don't remember.
Horga'hn.
Horga'hn. Yeah, Riker gave it to Picard. And Picard didn't know what it was.
He asked Picard to pick it up. And Picard's got it sitting out. And everyone's like coming up to him. And he's like, what do all of you people want? And they're like, well, you have a Horga'hn out. It means you're ready to boogie.
Riker gave it to him on
and
purpose.
He's like, damn, Riker.
Yeah.
He's like, here's your damn statue.
Well, we'll have to put this episode on pause before we get to that so I can come up with some trivia for you. But that part totally left my mind. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a trivia section, listeners, by the way. That's a new addition.
Something came up, it just surprised me that they did not once reference it. Especially Trip and Malcolm. You would think they would. You
think they would like bring it to the nightclub with them and set it down on the table?
They would carry it everywhere they go.
Yeah, like carry it.
I have to go to the bathroom. Bring your Horga'hn with you.
Yeah, don't forget your Horga'hn.
Have fun with it. Have fun.
Yeah, and I guess they would have had a hard time picking up a lady then, but that was the whole point. Them trying to be suave,
right?
But all in all, it was okay. It was just
but it
okay.
was disappointing.
But but overall disappointing. I wasn't really bored. It was just kind of, man, what a missed opportunity, because I was thinking about which episode was it? Maybe it was a few episodes ago. We were watching one where it starts off and it's just, they're just hanging out watching TV, and I'm like, God, I wish the whole episode was about that. And they're just hanging around.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
And we came up with a whole.
Was that Fallen Hero? Or was that?
Was it Fallen Hero?
They got interrupted. They had to go do something.
Yeah, they were watching the movie in the mess hall.
Yeah, they're watching. Yeah, Trip was watching the movie,
right?
And then they went and watched like water polo together or something,
right?
Eating popcorn.
Yeah,
and I was like,
wouldn't
man,
it be cool?
That's one of the whole episode where it's just them hanging out.
Yeah,
a day in the life on the ship.
And we came up with a subplot where an alien was impersonating
a
human.
Yeah, and he's hanging around.
Experience. And they all hang out with him throughout the episode.
It was Bob. We called him Bob.
Where's that guy? Where'd he go? And we never find out that Bob was until the end, that Bob was an alien just checking out human culture.
Was it Vox Sola? Was it that one?
I can't remember.
Okay, well.
But we came up with something way more interesting.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Might have been Vox Sola. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because we liked Fallen Hero.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't think we went to go rewrite that one.
No, I don't think so. I got totally sidetracked. I forgot where I was going with that.
I know you wanted to think of trivia.
No. It had something to do with the fact that, oh, right, because on Risa, it's just going to be them hanging out. And I was like, what what fun they could have had. I mean, I know you came up with a good plot just now, but
Mm-hmm.
the many different plots they could have come up with this is the stuff that we wanted to see, them just having a good time, being themselves outside of the regular working environment of the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
And they just played it safe.
Way too safe.
And even Hoshi, like even her plot of meeting this nice guy who turns out to be just a nice guy who happens to be also a language expert, just like she is.
Right.
What a coincidence. Oh boy.
He runs that scam on everyone.
He probably does. Like, he looked like a scammer.
He sits at that table every weekend.
He's there every day listening to see what girl can I pick up today.
Yes, you know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I hope you didn't think I was taking advantage of you.
Oh,
because I was.
Because I was. And I expected. I wish it would have ended better if, like, when she woke up in bed, if he wasn't there.
By the end of the day, he's at that same table hitting on someone else.
Yeah, she sees him with another girl, and she's like, "Oh man!" And then she goes and like stuns him with a phaser or something. That would have been a better ending, right?
Yeah.
Something, or took that horga'hn statue and broke it over his head.
Or have him, see her and go, oh no, I have to leave. And as he leaves the building, Trip and Malcolm running in their boxes covering their undies run into him and knock him down.
Yeah, the plots converge.
They mash him to the ground by accident, and they go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Hoshi, did you know this man? No, but thanks, guys. Thank you for the help. Thanks for the assist. That would have been, sure, just have fun with it.
And one other thing, Crewman Cutler made an appearance.
She did.
And I had forgotten. Maybe we mentioned that back in...
I think whenever we read whatever episode she was in last time, I think we read that she had one more appearance. I think this is probably it.
Well, I guess it would be.
Yeah. Very sad.
But, I mean, she got a little bit to do.
She did.
But I guess that's it, though. That's all I had to say about this episode, unless you had more.
No, I don't think so. I think we sufficiently rewrote the elements. What do you think about the rating in comparison? Because that was pretty close to Terra Nova, wasn't it?
Terra Nova was 6.5. This was 6.6.
Ooh, that's
really unfair.
That's really unfair. I mean, we're not talking this is not Emmy award-winning material here, but it's not Terra Nova.
Well,
either.
I think Rogue Planet. Let me double check. I think that's also 6.5. Let me make sure. I think that was episode 18. There we go. 6.5 also. So that should be lower than Terra Nova.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Rogue Planet, that should be like 3.
Since we're using this as a basis, for rating, then 6.5 is the low. So 6.6, I'd say that's a bit harsh. I would say 6.8 maybe.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess we can talk about that more when we get into ratings.
Well, let's do our ratings.
You want to do ratings right
now?
Okay. For a grade, well, it was definitely better than average. So,
okay.
I'll give it a C+, maybe.
I was thinking in my head like B-.
I don't think maybe. I can give it a B. I think that's way too generous.
The Phlox stuff does make me laugh, but that is very
maybe
minor.
A C++. I can't give it a B.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you a C++. I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel kind of weird. I don't like giving it a B.
It's like in that Amazing Stories episode with Christopher Lloyd. F+, your spelling was good. Like they gets the plus for the effort in some places, but other than that, it was pretty average.
It really was. Yeah, if it wasn't for the Phlox plot, I would have no problem giving it a C. So yeah, C+. Because all the plots, in my opinion, fall short, except for the Phlox one.
Maybe if they kept those plots, but just found a way to bring them together.
Well,
but they
I think
just
we figured it out.
We did with our rearranged story, but if they kept their story the way it was, but found a way to intertwine them a little bit.
Gosh, it's such a shame. I mean, look, I know any one of the writers on the show could spitball ideas right here with us too.
Yeah.
There's limitations, there's time, there's all that stuff that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Although isn't it interesting to think about? I mean, you and I right here in the space of 20 minutes, in my opinion, highly improved this episode. So how does that not happen in the writer's room? And I don't say that as a criticism because I understand that it's infinitely more complex than two guys sitting in a room after the fact.
I mean, do you remember, in the DS9 documentary,
What We Left Behind?
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
What We Left Behind, where they do a story break.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like they come up with this brilliant episode and they leave you on a cliffhanger, but it was to see them break it out so smoothly. Like, God, these guys are pros.
And they bounce ideas off each other.
Oh,
what
yeah.
about this? Oh, what about this?
Yeah.
And then bam, 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 it starts coming together.
You see it come together.
You and I, of course, we're not starting from scratch.
That's true.
We're starting from the bones of this.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a fan editor, does an edit of the movie, try doing that when there was nothing on the page. Nothing at all.
Yes, it would be much harder.
So it's much harder. And I say any of these things we say, our writer's room stuff, is with the full acknowledgement that we are looking at it after it's been made.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure
we're Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah,
right?
and and I'm sure even the writers of the show watched it and went, well, sure, we could have done this, should have done this. They know. But, once that ball's rolling, there's only so much you can do. You run out of time, and you're like, okay, we got to shoot something. Put it on the screen.
Yeah, so what was your grade?
I'll give it a C plus.
C plus plus.
Well.
Did you have any awards, or do you have any best moment, worst moment?
There's one obvious award.
Okay.
Which is the Geordie LaForge
Coco No.
for Crashing and Burning, and that's obviously Trip and Malcolm.
Okay.
I looked. Oh, well, I mean, I guess you can kind of say that the Vidra Award for plot twists goes to Archer's little girlfriend because she's not what she seems to be.
It's not really a plot twist.
Not really.
She's up to no.
You know she's up to no good.
It's not when you see it coming.
No, I know. You're right.
You're right. Yeah.
So just the Geordie LaForge Coco No.
Okay. Well, let's see. I did have kind of I would say best moment, worst moment. I would say best and worst is probably the same thing.
Okay.
I think, I like to call out two lines specifically. Malcolm and I intend on broadening our cultural horizons. And then, and here's to a well-earned 2 days and 2 nights. Which one's best? Which one's worst? I don't know. But the 2 days and 2 nights, which is the title of the episodes, get dropped again by Hoshi.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you think that's where they knew the title beforehand, or they just saw that they used that phrase twice and said, let's just call it that?
I think they knew.
You think they knew?
I think they knew.
Oh, I also pointed out, I thought I really liked Tripp's John Travolta-esque white suit. Did you notice that when I was like, nice, man, he's going for a little John Travolta thing there.
Kind of a 70s
yes,
shtick to it.
It's like he looks sharp. But that's all I had for. There's really no big awards. As I said, as in a kind of a bland episode, you're not going to get that much. I would say probably the best moment, I guess, would actually have to be Phlox.
I think when Phlox did that about face and
waking
face
up in
planet.
sick bay. I think that moment when he woke up in sick bay, like Doc Brown in Back to the Future 3, I think that was the best moment. It's very small.
Well, you and I laughed out loud when he tried to stand up from bed and go, let's go to sick bay. Plump.
Yeah.
Pratt falls.
Yeah.
And you and I, we laughed out loud at that because that took you off guard. You just don't expect it. You think that's going to happen, but then you think in the back of your head, well, it's Star Trek. They don't do that. Oh, wow, they did it,
Yeah.
And he did it very well, I might add.
Yeah. We have no awards for pratfalls or
no
comedy. Maybe we should have an award for comedy because it barely works. So.
True. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that
maybe we could call it the Pauly Shore Award.
No.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to bring up Pauly Shore, but all right. Well, did you want to do you have more trivia?
No, not really.
Okay. I guess I'll pay attention next time and so we can do trivia.
Okay.
But
no, yeah. I kept watching as we were doing it, but the one other thing I was going to ask you, which even though I've already said it, I'll bet you don't remember. What was her name? Archer's little girlfriend.
I was trying to think of it a second ago,
exactly.
And I couldn't remember.
Because she was totally forgettable. It was Elena.
Yeah.
And I only know that because I had to read it looking for the trivia for the episode. But like as soon as the episode ended, I could not tell you her name. Could not tell you. I have no idea what the name was of Hoshi's suitor. No idea. He was just some
Oh yeah,
guy.
I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, that's how bland these characters were. None of them stood out.
Yeah, he was just guy who slept with
Crewman
Hoshi.
number 6.
Yeah, crewman number 6. Let's step back into the writer's room for a second.
Sure.
I would like to change one thing about the Trip and Malcolm subplot. The other very funny moment was Trip's reaction to when the two ladies they think that are ladies turn into alien men, and Trip goes, "Oh."
I know they cut back. That was a total like Abbott and Costello. Like,
yes, yes.
He like cocked up one knee and
we laughed out loud there.
Yeah, it was so un-Star Trek.
Yeah, that was funny. But one thing I would change would be the aliens they turn into are just kind of generic looking, unknown aliens. They should have made it something really unpleasant or masculine looking, like so they would be
like a Nausicaan,
something like that, or like a Klingon or something,
right?
Something weird, like
Feklar.
Yeah,
Feklar.
Yeah, like something like that. That would inherit that kind of reaction.
Then you could get Trips, and you could have Malcolm go, I think I kissed that one.
Like maybe he would throw up because he'd been drinking. Like that would be funny. Too many Mai Tais.
Freedom isn't free.
Yeah, but that would be my other addition in the writer's room.
Yeah, no, that would have been even funnier. Yes.
Well, I think that seals it up. I don't have anything else to say about this.
Yeah, that about rounds.
What is coming up next? We're at the season finale.
Shockwave Part 1.
Wow, we made it to the end. Okay, so after Shockwave Part 1, are we gonna still do the season wrap up?
Oh,
so what we had initially intended, if you've forgotten, was we're going to do a season retrospective where we go back and we talk about each episode briefly, and we we'll have to dig up what our grades were for each one.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
It'll be an episode in and of itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe talk about our own personal high. We could even make probably by looking at the grades we gave, how many hits and how many misses did they have in the whole season, and give a percentage as far as what percentage of the season was actually good,
or like what was the okay. I guess we could find out like what the average rating would be for each one.
I would think I would say an episode is considered good if it's a B of any kind,
right? And
B- counts. Yeah. So how many B- plus episodes do you have? That I think it'll be an interesting percentage to figure out and see how it plays.
Okay.
I'll bet it's pretty low, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
And I gotta tell you, I can't remember any of season 2. I mean, I'm sure when I see episode titles, I'll remember.
Yeah.
But like right now, gun to my head, I cannot think what the hell is coming until you get to the Xindi arc. And I'm not saying that because I love the Xindi arc. I'm just saying I know what that was. I can't remember what happens in season 2.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe it is. I mean, season 3 is when the Makos come on.
Right.
I do not remember. Like when I see episode titles, yes, I will know. But like right now, I can't tell you. I have no idea. In fact, I'm gonna look just because I'm curious.
I mean, I'm having a hard time remembering it too, now that you think about it.
Isn't that what does that say?
Well, I think it just says it's been a while since we've watched these all the way through. I guess so. I think that's it.
Oh, wow. Oh, shoot. Okay, never mind. Now I'm looking at the season 2 is going to be fun.
Okay.
Well, you want me to rattle off a few?
No, just don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Oh man. Okay. I actually kind of can't wait.
Okay. Well, that's something for me to look forward to.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right.
I don't think we're going to have the slog that we did for season 1.
The kind of where it's all like bland.
No, just looking at like the first 5 for season 2, it's going to be a much better experience.
Okay. Well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you in Shockwave.
All right.